If we look at these 5 U.S. states and each of their poverty rates ranging from 16.2% in Arkansas to the highest rate of 19.07% in Mississippi, it is fair to say that their poverty rate per state is below 20%. However, that does not mean that states such as Mississippi are not suffering. Poverty rates describe the ratio of people's inability to afford the basic necessities within the said state, city, or country. These are the 5 states with the lowest poverty rates in the United States as of 2023. And these are the states with relatively worse poverty rates. So how exactly has Mississippi managed to get very high poverty rates since 2000 and have the highest rate of poverty since 2017? Let us start by understanding the economic environment in which the Magnolia State operates. Many believe the United States has a capitalistic economy, and since that is partially true, the U.S. also has characteristics of a socialist economy. It is more appropriate to describe their economic system as a mixed market economy. In the U.S., most companies are privately owned and they are operated with the goals of profit maximization above all else. On the other hand, the government steps in several situations by adjusting taxes or controlling the money supply to manage price stability and levels of employment. The government may also put in regulations to restrict private entities from the rising prices beyond the market cap. Another socialist characteristic we can see is the provision of public goods and services by the U.S. government, funded through taxes for those who are not fortunate enough. However, most Americans prefer capitalism over socialism as they believe that government intervention is inefficient and harmful to the economy. Mississippi, a state in the southeastern region of the U.S., is known as the birthplace of American blues music and home to many famous American musicians, as well as being a state that operates in the agricultural industry. Despite their poverty situation, Mississippi has been able to reduce the unemployment rate to 4.1% in 2022 by employing 191,000 people in healthcare and social assistance, 162,000 people in retail trade, and 128,000 people in accommodation and food services, ranking them 37th out of the 50 states in employment in these major sectors. They have employed approximately 1 million people in 2022, ranking them 36th out of the 50 states. In 2022, Mississippi's gross domestic product was valued at $104.7 billion, showing an increase of 0.6% from 2021. With an annualized rate of 0.7% over the last 5 years. According to their 5-year GDP growth, they rank 40th out of the 50 states. The largest revenue systems in 2022 that have contributed to the state's GDP are hospitals with $14 billion, petroleum refining at $10.9 billion, and meat, beef, and poultry processing at $8 billion. Top companies in the state have also contributed to the increase in employment. All of these statistics may look appealing to the eye, but do not let them deceive you. Yes, Mississippi is growing slowly, but being a part of the United States of America, they are falling very far behind the rest of the 50 states. Regardless of their economic performances, they are still the only state with the highest poverty rate in the U.S. with 19.07%. But why are Mississippians so poor? Data and statistics from the CDC, World Population Review, and Data USA in 2021 suggested that the state had ranked amongst the last in life expectancy, average household income, and amount of homicides, safety, and poverty rates. However, they ranked the 9th best in mental health scores, so at least they are happy and poor. They had the highest homicide rate of 15.4 per 100,000 people and a life expectancy of 74.6 years only. The mean household income has also been ranked very low at only $62,835. So what do all these figures mean? The low household income meant that the cost of living was not low enough. Even though it is pretty low, it is still not affordable for the locals there. And another study concluded that 19.2% of adult Mississippians do not want health care because of the costs. The homicide rates, safety scores, and life expectancy rates all make Mississippi a very unattractive place to live, and that also drives away the people of Mississippi. Ironically, being a state in the country known as the land of opportunities, Mississippi has very less opportunities and suffers from a brain drain. The lack of education and opportunities leads to higher dropout rates and more people leaving the state for other states to explore better opportunities and seek better education. These highly skilled people and lost potential for the state make it especially difficult for them to rely on existing and upcoming generations to help grow the state. A lot of stuff has been mentioned earlier, and several different approaches can be taken to tackle these issues, but the lack of resources and fragile economy make it very complicated to even go down that road. The state of Mississippi had considered cuts in personal income tax to raise household income in 2021. And as much as that would make sense and possibly help it, but it damages their economic growth as a whole because another issue they are facing, which is the poor infrastructure, will be sacrificed. Fewer taxes means fewer funds for hospitals, educational systems, and even job creation. By investing in their people rather than decreasing tax revenues, they can be able to use the current tax revenues and divert them into better usage by paying better salaries to teachers and better funding for healthcare facilities. They have also considered cutting sales tax from 7% to 4%, which is appealing for decreasing the cost of living, but also comes to the sacrifice of the state's infrastructure. Safety and homicide rates need to be considered too, as it is ranked one of the most dangerous states in the US and can be on the list of multiple reasons why locals want to move out and why fewer people want to move there. United States, the country with the highest GDP in the world and the most developed country in the world, with one of the strongest currencies, has states like Mississippi that suffer a high poverty rate and bad economic growth. Who would have thought that in a country so successful, there would be states that are still suffering? Mississippi is in a very complicated situation with a very fragile economy. Do you think Mississippi can climb the ranks and decrease its poverty rates? Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you have enjoyed the video and most importantly, learned more about the economic situation of Mississippi.